Tonight, we are asking the tough questions as outrage grows over the discovery of mold in a local school and the shutdown of every single school in that district. Frustrated parents are demanding answers, but they say they're not getting much information from school officials. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jessica Dean.
And I'm Nicole Brewer, in for Yuki Washington. Right now, families don't know when the schools will reopen. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Holden is live in Williamstown, New Jersey, with the very latest on that. Joe, what can you tell us?
Well, Nicole and Jess, parents are outraged, as you have mentioned. Few answers today after a very raucous school board meeting last night. We are standing outside the administration building where the superintendent has been holed up all day. We've left several messages trying to reach him because parents want to know, number one, what is the smoking gun? Why the mold in Holly Glen Elementary? And why shut down the entire district? The best information we have right now is that school, at the balance of schools in this district, won't be back in session until at least next Monday. The day after a stormy, several hours long emergency meeting in the Monroe Township School District, and frustration is still off the charts.
I'm completely appalled. It looks like from things that I've been seeing and research that they've known about it since at least 2012.
Right now, all schools in this Gloucester County district in Williamstown are shuttered. Fear has spread like the very mold an expert report shows was rampant inside Holly Glen Elementary School. Under intense questioning by a parent, a building supervisor on Monday night revealed various strains of mold have been known about for some time. Listen to the exchange.
When did you know that there was a mold problem in our school system?
January of this year, for sure.
Just a dozen hours after that dramatic meeting, there wasn't a soul to be found at Holly Glen or Williamstown Middle School. No workers, nothing. Students claim mold has been an issue at the middle school.
In the locker rooms in the middle school, near the showers, and right next to the lockers.
Hi, good morning. My name is Joe. I'm from Channel 3. Is the superintendent available? Eyewitness News spent the day tracking Monroe Township District officials. Not a single one, as of this deadline, responded to requests for comment, including all 9 members of the school board. This man is vice president for TTI Environmental, the company responsible for preparing the report on mold at Holly Glen. You gave assurances that this could be fixed?
I can't talk, man. Yeah, if it,
Are you going to remediate this as well?
We're looking.
You're inspecting, right? Well, they are inspecting. Of course, you saw us catching up with that inspector outside of the high school, but every other school was basically empty. This is that report. We are taking what is inside this report to independent experts to try and peel away the layers of a smoking gun. What is in this report that could be dangerous to students? I will see you with that part of our coverage and perhaps a statement from the school district today at 6 o'clock. Live tonight in Williamstown, Joe Holden, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Joe, we will see you at 6. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight, a microbiologist has gone public saying he has lab results showing toxic mold in Cherokee County schools. Reaction from the online post is prompting the district to order air quality testing in every building from elementary to high school.
Our Ben Hoover joins us now. And Ben, this has caused a real uproar within the schools in Cherokee County. The superintendent, in fact, has responded.
That's right, Gordon. The outcry was enough for the superintendent to ask inspectors to expedite air quality results from schools that have already been tested when results really weren't expected for another couple of weeks. It all started days ago when Donnie Patterson says he felt he had no choice but to blow the whistle on the schools that he once attended.
I feel like I'm the male Aaron Brockovich of Cherokee County right now.
That feeling, Donnie Patterson says, comes from the response to his Facebook post last week. A photo of a ceiling tile covered in mold he says came from one of the schools in Cherokee County.
I took to social media because I wanted people to know this happens. This is out there. I didn't want anybody to be at the doctor and confused and scared.
A product of the district himself, now he's an environmental microbiologist in Spartanburg. Patterson used his own lab to test samples he says came from multiple schools, delivered to him by teachers. Some, he says, have gotten sick and are afraid to report their concerns to the district out of fear for their jobs. Superintendent Dr. Quincy Moore disputes Patterson's claim, saying teachers are encouraged to report health and safety concerns.
To think that anybody might feel unnerved to report something that bothers me most, because we may have a problem.
Patterson says over 100 people have reached out to him with stories and photos of problems. These pictures Patterson shared with 7 News. He says a student snapped these at Blacksburg High School today. They appear to show visible mold near an air unit. At Grenard Middle School, Patterson says pictures taken this week show mold on floor tiles. On the ceiling, that black part, he suspects, is toxic death mold, known to kill horses and cattle. And these, Patterson says, were taken in August at Gaffney High School, showing mold in student lockers. Superintendent Moore says many buildings in the district are old but safe, and when air quality and mold concerns come up, they're addressed and fixed.
The safety of the children is the most important thing to me.
Now, Dr. Moore says that Patterson never reached out to her about his lab results and concerns, the ones that he posted on social media. He says at least 6 teachers have reached out to him claiming that they have been sick from mold inside their classrooms. Even Dr. Patterson has said as recently as this year, one teacher has come forward and complained about problems in her classroom, and they've gone in, and she says that they've fixed it.
So now the Cherokee County School District has gone out to get their own independent group to do a testing on these same schools?
Yes, it's the same one that actually inspected did one inspection at the Spartanburg County Courthouse. But yes, so it's a Spartanburg company that they have had on the payroll for years as part of their building plan, for their school building plan. And she just calls them up whenever there are problems, and they go out and figure out if there is a problem, and she says that they fix it, and they've been doing it for years.
It'll be very interesting to see if that company comes back with test results similar to the ones in this story.
That's right, and those will come back in a couple of weeks.
All right, Ben, thank you. We'll look for that. A case of
Parents of an Austin ISD kindergartner are suing the school district for more than $1 million. They accuse the district of violating the Americans with Disabilities Act by not providing a mold-free environment for their daughter who is allergic to mold. You may remember Jennifer Matos and her daughter Safira from a KXAN investigation last fall. Safira was hospitalized just weeks after beginning pre-K at Oak Springs Elementary in East Austin. A licensed mold assessment consultant with AISD found her classroom unacceptable with a high mold count. After the district's largest classroom mold removal ever, the mold count eventually came down to 0. At the time, additional testing revealed unacceptable mold levels at 7 other schools. We reached out to AISD earlier today to get updates on those schools, but we have not heard back.
Administrators called off school for hundreds of students at an Elgin elementary school after mold was discovered in the building. CBS 2's V Wynn live at Coleman Elementary with more on how the district is addressing the problem this morning. Hi, V.
Yeah, hey there, Marissa. The district is reassuring parents there is no reason to panic. They closed the school today as a precaution. We have seen contractors at the school all morning working to assess the problem inside the building, and the CEO of the district says that they will begin the work to clean up the school today. Inside Coleman Elementary is where school administrators say they found mold in several classrooms and in common areas of the old building.
When you say common areas, which areas are you talking about?
I'm talking hallways, cafeteria, areas like that most of the kids will be walking throughout the day.
So you're saying it's in the cafeteria?
Well, it's what's unique about this building is it's full of wood paneling, and so that wood is where most of the problem lies.
The district's plant operations department has been working to remediate mold found in several classrooms when they discovered more mold last night.
And mold is pretty common in several in schools and buildings all over the place in this area. With the humidity that we have, there's mold spores at all times, even around us right now as we stand here today. But when it gets attached to something in a building, we do have to remediate it on a regular basis.
The CEO says he's not sure how long it's going to take to clean up the mold and how much it's going to cost the district. For now, his focus is to get the mold cleaned up as quickly as possible so students can go back to school.
So what we'll do now is make sure that we lower the moisture levels in the building. So we're bringing in dehumidifiers while the cleaning takes place, and then we'll retest before we can allow kids back in.
They discovered just a little suspicious mold, surface mold on one of the bags.
Bags in classrooms at Rutledge Middle School in Midfield. Principal Georgette Alexander says a maintenance worker found the minor surface mold last week. It's limited to 9 classrooms. Cleaning crews quickly got to work.
They came in early yesterday morning, like 5 o'clock, and start taping things off and start pulling things out as far as they need to be trashed and wiping down the surface.
Beverly Horton is a first-year teacher at the school. Her classroom is one that's taped off.
People have been hired to come out here to thoroughly clean the rooms, to make sure that this place is inhabitable for our students. And to me, that makes the difference.
Students were due back to class next Wednesday. Now the school district is pushing back the start date to Monday, August 12th for environmental testing and teacher prep. In order to make up the extra days, the school district is adding on 3 extra days to the end of next May. Still, teachers and staff are excited to get back in the swing of things.
We want to make sure that everything is clear and for our students to come back into a clean environment.
And bring in a new school year. In Midfield, Mary O'Connell, WVTM 13.
I wasn't surprised by this.
In an aging building, possible mold found in a main hallway at Longfellow Elementary.
Things like this happen, so when you find out about it, you just have to figure out a way to deal with it.
And really what they need is the finances to actually support and mitigate the mold. So I hope everybody votes for all 4 schools.
The discovery comes less than a month before a major city election. Voters will have to decide whether to fund renovations to 4 schools, including Longfellow, or just 2 of those 4, Lyseth and Presumpscot.
Longfellow and its 3 sister schools need our help.
At a news conference, supporters of rebuilding all 4 schools said waiting for state funding could take too long.
53 new schools have applied that we would now have to compete against. Our students can't wait 5, 6, or 8 years.
Opponents argue that state funding could lessen taxpayer burden or prevent personnel cuts.
As a school district, we believe that all 4 schools need to be repaired, so that's beyond question for us.
For kids at Longfellow, the possible mold should not disrupt student learning, the superintendent says, but it has many parents thinking about the future of the school.
It's worth the investment. There's more to a school than just the building, obviously, but certainly you start with that as your bare minimum.
South Hadley officials are about to hold another meeting in response to the substantial mold found all throughout the high school.
Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane is live for us in South Hadley with those details. Lindsay?
Chris and Jordan, this meeting is set to begin in just a few minutes as parents prepare to ask questions to not only school officials, but the mold remediation companies as well. This comes as high school students have yet to be in-person school. Remote learning has been approved by the state for just 5 days. The first day of online learning began Thursday and is scheduled to end on Wednesday. In a letter to the school community from Superintendent Jamal Mosley, he says at this point, the 400, 500, and 600 area hallways are 98% cleared. The 100, 200, and 300 hallways were expected to be ready for testing this past weekend. Superintendent Mosley says the district is still working with the teachers union to figure out how to make up all these missed days. Right now, it's still unclear when the cleaning and testing will be finished and when staff and students can return to the building. Several crew members were seen coming in and out of the high school Monday afternoon with big trash bags. The meeting is set to begin at 6:30. Stick with Western Mass News on air and online for the latest information. Live in South Hadley, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
In some offices, it's covering anything that's on the floor. So if you leave a backpack on the ground, it'll turn kind of whitish gray within a couple of days.
This is Pavel Zuckerman's 5th year teaching, and every year in Woods Hall she says there's humidity issues. This year, she feels the issue is coming to a head.
We're like literally in our offices wiping mold off books and throwing out personal items that are moldy, backpacks and couches and chairs.
These photos were provided to WUSA by faculty member Umay Habiba. She says they were taken inside Woods Hall this year. They show splotches of green caking furniture, growing spores on books.
We had a faculty meeting and we were asked to raise our hand if we'd had any health issues from the mold. And it was, I think there was maybe 1 or 2 people that didn't. It was everybody in the building.
WUSA 9 contacted the university administration, and the facilities management department issued this statement acknowledging the humidity issues. Sections of the impacted areas sit below grade level and maintain a high level of relative humidity. We have taken a number of responsive and proactive measures to combat humidity challenges. These include mold remediation, renovation, foundation waterproofing, and installation of rain guards.
Yes, it is uncomfortable.
Paul Shackle, head of the anthropology department, says despite the university's steps, the issues persist, and he says it's compounded by what he says is his allergy to mold.
When people start to complain about headaches or congestion or rashes, I noticed that I started to get these rashes about the same time when the mold issues started to become inflamed within the building.
He would like to see the building get further renovations, including central air and new windows. In College Park, Eliana Block, WUSA 9.